So I'm in the BC Care office, and I really wanted just to show you that we have a practice of doing rapid testing when we come into the office. So the rapid tests that we have access to are the Abbott PanBio, which is a rapid antigen test. And a lot of people liken them to pregnancy tests, and as a result, a lot of people are talking about making these affordable, making them sort of commonplace that everybody has them in their drugstore. We're asked to do a few things. I'm not sure if you can read that, but essentially it says make sure your hands are sanitized after you've done the test and you filled out the form. It's really important that we actually keep a record, so we have a record of who's done the test, and those tests are submitted weekly into the health authorities just so they can keep track of that. Our offices are here in Fraser Health. So there are a few parts to this little tool. There is a tube here. There is a little cap. They are packaged separately, so the cap will go on top of the tube, but I will hold off on doing that. Before I really get going, I'm going to put my initials on here just so I know it's my test. So I'll just do that now. And then I'm going to stand the test in just a little holder right here temporarily. And then I've got my cap here, and then I'm going to take this liquid here, and this liquid will allow us to go and do the test. So I'm only supposed to put in a number of drops, and there's a little line on there you can't probably see, but I'm just going to put a few drops in here and fill up that to that line. So as I do that now, there we go. So I'm essentially at that line now. I'll put my my little tube here back in the holder. I'll put the lid back on the, oops, wrong lid, the right lid on top of the fluid here. And there's another part to this, which is the nasal swab, which everybody is kind of dreads, but now that these tests are able to be swabbed in your kind of lower nasal passage here, you're not having to go very deep. So you're really only going in kind of the top of the nostril. So I'm going to take this little swab out here. And another thing too is I have the actual test device right here. And so I'm just going to rip this package open right here. And same thing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my initials on there, and eventually that will tell me whether I'm positive or negative. So hopefully negative. So I'm putting my initials here, and here I go. So now I have my swab, and I'm going to insert it on both nostrils, and I'm going to swirl around 5 times each time, and I'm just going to do that. And I'll probably just pause the camera now because you don't want to watch that. Okay, swabbing is done. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the little tube that had the liquid poured into it, and I'm going to put my swab down into this tube, and I'm going to swirl it around for just about 5 times, they say, in this liquid. So I'm sort of swirling it around, swooshing it around in the bottom of the liquid in the bottom of this little tube. And I'm going to pull this up, and this actually has a little, you can barely see it, but there's a little line there that actually allows you to kind of break this off. So I'm just going to squeeze the last of the kind of liquid off of that swab. I'm going to break that off, and then that's where my blue cap comes in. I'm going to put the cap in like this. So now I have essentially a tube with a cap on the bottom. This becomes like a little, almost like a little tiny baster. It's a tiny little eyedropper, and you're supposed to put 5 drops into the little testing device here. And so I'm going to now pour 5 drops in here, which you won't be able to see with the camera here. So here I go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drops are now applied in there. I'm just going to put my tube back into the holder, and the test is starting. So now I'm going to set my watch for 15 minutes. I have a little timer on my watch, which is kind of nice. And here we go. I'm going to set 15 minutes, and I'm going to come back after 15 minutes, and it's going to tell me whether I'm positive or negative. Okay. Now it's time for the big reveal. I'll take my mask off. I had my mask. I was in the office. We wear masks when we're going between our desks. Here's the results of my test. Negative. So that's good. So that means I have tested negative, and so what that means is that now I can fill out a little sheet of paper here. It's not very complicated, very simple, and it just says the type of test, where I was, where it collected. So we've got a little BCCPA, BC Care Providers, and I just basically say test result was negative. So that's it. Really easy, and honestly, it makes the workplace feel better. Everybody feels better, and now I can sort of throw away my test, my little tube eyedropper, and we have a record of that. So that's how rapid testing works in our office here, and it's something I think that every workplace should try and get as well.